All right, let's dive right into your pronunciation diagnostic. In this breakdown, we're going to give you a really direct, objective analysis of your recording, so no fluff, just the actionable feedback you need to really elevate your clarity. So here's our game plan. We'll start with your overall score, then we'll dig into the specific sounds. From there, we're going to pinpoint the biggest pattern that needs some attention, give you a targeted list of words to practice, and then wrap it all up with the main takeaways. Okay, let's get started. First things first, let's look at the big picture, your overall score. Your overall pronunciation score comes in at 68 out of 100. Now, just to give you some context, 100 on this scale is what we'd consider native level proficiency, while 0 is around a CEFR A1 level. So 68 is actually a solid score. It means you're definitely intelligible, but, and this is the good part, there are some really specific areas where just a little bit of focused practice could make a huge difference. So you might be wondering, where does that 68 come from? Well, let's break it down and look at the individual sounds, or phonemes, from your recording. Okay, this is really the heart of the analysis right here. This table shows us exactly where you're losing a bit of clarity with the sounds lined up from the lowest score to the highest. Down at the bottom, you'll see the Z and S sounds, scoring a 30 and a 40. And the reason is pretty straightforward. They just get dropped off the end of words pretty consistently, especially on plurals. Moving on up, the A vowel, that's the A in cat, scored a 60. It was a bit inconsistent, like the word swabbing sounded more like swinging. Now the consonants V, R, and L are looking much stronger, in that 70 to 80 range. They could still be a little more precise though, especially in words like invasive and world. And hey, look at the top. The th sound in athletics was a real highlight, coming in at a strong 85. Nice work there. So looking at all that data, there's one really clear pattern that just jumps out. It's the habit of dropping consonant sounds at the very end of words. Honestly, this one single habit is having the biggest impact on your overall score. And this slide shows it perfectly. On the left, that's what we heard in the recording. On the right, that's the actual word from the script. See what's happening? The final S in sports and tests, it just disappears. Same deal with the verb insists. It just sounds like insist. And maybe the most critical one, the final Z sound in organizations gets dropped completely. And the thing is, this doesn't just change the pronunciation, it actually changes the grammar and the meaning of what you're saying. All right, now that we know what the main issue is, let's get practical. Here is a list of words pulled right from the script that are going to be perfect for you to practice. So first up, we have sports and organizations to directly tackle those missing final S and Z sounds. Then we've got swabbing, which is great for practicing that open front vowel A. World, that one is a classic. It's excellent for nailing that tricky combo of the R and the dark L sound. We also threw in athletics to give you more practice with that A vowel, but also to remind you of that great th sound you're already making. And finally, invasive will help you get a clearer V sound, and career is just great for strengthening that final R. Okay, let's bring it all together. I want to boil all this down to the most important points that are really going to guide your path to improvement. Look, if you forget everything else from this entire analysis, please remember this. There are two things that will give you the biggest bang for your buck, the fastest improvement in clarity. Number one, consciously articulating those final consonants, especially S and Z. And number two, sharpening the distinction of key vowel sounds, starting with A. I promise you, mastering these two things will be a total game changer. And that really brings us to our final thought. You've seen all the data, you know exactly what to work on, so the only question left is this. What is the number one sound you're going to commit to practicing this week?